Hello, my name is Marcin, and this is the T.A.I podcast. We're very pleased to welcome Eric from T.A.I, Traditional Archers International, to today's edition. First of all, Eric, can you tell us a few words about yourself and T.A.I?
Well, thank you first of all for interviewing me and inviting me to this interview. Yes, let me introduce myself. First, my name is Eric Lindemann. My last name, Lindemann, is a typical German name, which comes from the Linde, the tree, and man, it's a very old name. I was born in 1964. Pretty close to an American base, Ramstein, in the southwest of Germany. And even as a child, I got interested in archery. As we playing as kids, a hazelnut stick with a string and just some brunch and shooting. And so archery, well, was not leading my life, but archery became part of my life, even as a hobby a little bit. But real hobby became 25 years ago, when I got really really into archery. And over these years I learned also what it means to be an archer, especially because I'm a traditional archer. I never started with a FITA, formerly called FITA, which is World Archery now. I never got introduced to this kind of shooting a couple of years ago, yes. But I started with traditional archery. So I joined the German Field Archery Association in the year 2000. And then 2 years later, I had my first international tournament, which was the first time at the IFA, the traditional bow class or historical bow class was introduced. By the way, it was the last 3D European or World Championship the IFA organized, the last one, because the bow hunter, as you know, was at that time, a part was 3D and the other one was paper pictures. You had to shoot on 2D pictures, animal pictures, and then they had 3D, and now they merged, and what they have right now, the bow hunter, is only 3D. So that was my first experience as a traditional archer at the IFA. And over the years, there was a tendency here in Germany, not only in Germany, I know for sure in other countries too, so that the traditional and historical archers, they wanted to get more independent. The reason was world archery does not accept traditional and historical archery. They don't exist there per se. And also in IFA, they only have the historical class, which is an homage to the historical and traditional archers, which I respect and I appreciate. But the traditional and historical archers, they wanted to have more, because as you know, when you take a look, for example, at the reflex bow, we call them, a common known as horse bows. And if you take a look at a Native American flat bow, they are different in speed and range and whatever. So a lot of historical and traditional archers, they were complaining silently about this. I mean, they were happy that they could compete in an international championship, but they were behind doors. They were complaining about this mix-up, and even some called this historical class a trash class, because everything which doesn't fit in the regular styles they put in the historical class. No, it was just a funny expression. It was not meant to be mean. No, it was a little bit more like humorful, calling this the trash class. It was said with a kind of respect and humor, of course. So over the years, the community was growing, and in 2017, 9 guys here in Germany, I'm one of these 9 guys, they decided we are founding a traditional archery federation here in Germany. It's the TBVD, stays for Traditioneller Bogensportverband Deutschland. And it was founded in 2017. So after our first national championship, we also had our annual meeting with all the members, and there came the question up: how about get involved also internationally? So we were checking this beforehand because these questions were raised before our national championship. So we were checking, especially myself, and we had no opportunity to join IFA nor World Archery. The only option we had was HDH, but we were looking at what HDH had to offer and didn't fit what we want to do in Germany. And so we decided, okay, well, let's make our own thing and let's found T.A.I. And that was the reason and why in 2017, T.A.I was founded. And the president of the TBVD is a founding member. Frank Schmidt, our former president of T.A.I, was the founding member, myself, and we had a couple guys. The very interesting thing is the first year we were really struggling because only TBVD was the only federation who was member in an international federation. That's the only one. That was really funny because you're not international if you only have one member. So I took the opportunity, and went to Golub Dobrzyń in Poland at the Polish Open Championship, and I was like a man on a mission. And I was asking so many and tried to get them interested in and tried to convince them. And the real good thing is the FABP from Portugal, Federal Arqueiro e Besta de Portugal, they were the first other than TBVD who joined us. And so over the time, Singapore as a club, traditional archers of Singapore, they became members. And so over the years, we got more and more members. But we had for 2 to 3 years, we had to go and make sort of acquisition. We were asking them, what do you think? So now the situation is clubs and federations and single members, they're coming by themselves and asking us, can we join you? So now the situation is totally around the other way, which is quite fascinating and is also satisfying, of course. So it shows me that our concept is quite good. So our concept is quite interesting, so that we get people and federations club interested in us. And this is quite amazing, I think. And it shows me also we did, in general, we did everything right. The only downside for the first couple of years was the COVID pandemic. So we tried to start 2 years after our foundation. We started to organize the first European Traditional Open here in Germany at the Castle of Gutenberg. We had to postpone it, and then we had to cut it because the authorities in Germany, they told us, no, it's not allowed to have more than 250 people or whatever, or even in that case, it was a regional government. They say, no, 50 people more, and you're not allowed to do anything like this. So that's the reason why we had to say, okay, sorry, folks, we can't do it. And that was also financially a disaster for us because everybody already paid their starting fees. So we had to pay everything back. Also, we already paid some stuff, to organize and to the ranges. We had 2 ranges, for the archers because this event goes over 3 days. So we had a lot of costs which we had to pay, and we had to pay back all the starting fees. There was financially was an absolutely disaster for us. And that at the beginning, wow, this is and I tell you what, I'm really honest about this. When I got the news that we are not allowed to organize the ITO, I had tears in my eyes. Really, I was really upset, and really it was such a sad situation. And there was a point where asking myself, well, can T.A.I survive? But happily, T.A.I survived, and we have a better standing than before. Because sometimes when bad situations happen to you, you will get stronger and stronger, as time passes. And this is what we are here. And yes, I'm looking into the future.
This is so true. I mean, the story of Thai versus COVID. And I think to build something and create intrinsic value, one usually has to undergo trial by fire. It was identical with TFAM. Maybe not so identical, but also very hard. We have to deal with the fraudulent printer. So we know what it means to fight to keep yourself afloat, and we admire you all the more as you are building something from scratch. If I can ask another question, we have a number of archery associations here in Ireland. IFAF, SIFA, Archery Ireland, Irish Traditional Field Archery Society. This one is probably the closest one to you. Then Northern Ireland Field Archery Associations. But it seems to me that we're lacking such a flesh and bone historical society on our island. Looking at the diversity of associations here, you may imagine how confusing the complexities must be when it comes to the European associations, be it historical or not. Well, then, can you please untie this scary knot for us?
I wouldn't put us the Thai just straight in one corner when it comes only to historical. We call ourselves traditional and historical. The historical is just made up only when it comes, to historical events like reenactment, for example. But I told you before when we had our first, small interview. Reenactment is not our case. We are focusing on archery, because reenactment you need a lot more, and traditional archery also is something which is still done today. Historical archery is a part which was in the past, and it's finished, like the short war between Portugal and Spain, for example, which took place for only really less than an hour, and this war was over between two groups of archers, Spain and Portuguese, and so this is something what happened in the past. So we are talking about historical archery, which is finished, but traditional archery still exists till today. So that's the reason why we have both historical and traditional. As you can see, there is one part, for example, also very interesting when it comes to historical archery warfare, meaning making war with a bow. It doesn't happen anymore nowadays.
Yeah, that's true.
What still happens is also, which is historical, is hunting with a bow, but they still do it today. Even for a living, like in Africa, the San people, common known as Bushmen, or even in South America, even some U.S. citizens, who are living by themselves, they don't want to go in the grocery store, or whatever. They do hunting for a living, of course. So this is really traditional, also historical, but it's still alive today. So there we're talking about traditional. Just this to explain where we stand. Now the difference between the other federations, international federations. World Archery basically has four bow styles. And there is the common known as longbow. We call these bows American flatbow because that was the original name. Then they have the traditional recurve, or in Germany they call them blank bow, meaning a bow without anything else. It could be also an Olympic recurve and strip, all the nifty stuff, and then you have a blank bow or a bare bow, and then you have the compound and the Olympic recurve, of course. But they're all more belong to the modern way of archery. IFA, interesting, is they also have two traditional bows, and then they have the historical bow class. But the rest of the I don't know, 9 class bow styles or 10 bow styles. I don't know how many there are. They belong all to the modern. We call them BU, like and bow hunter unlimited compound, and all these. They're different, and this I think this is okay. We are not a competition to these federations. Um, I believe we are a good addition and an alternative when it comes to the wide field of archery. So we are offering traditional and historical archers a home where they can feel comfortable, where they can, of course, compete, where they can learn about historical bows, because most of them, when they shoot historical bow, they want to know, of course, where does my bow come from? What is the history behind it? Or what kind of traditions are there comes with these kind of bows and all that stuff. And this is where we stand. The only federation which is or international organization, I would say organization, which is close to us is HTH from Hungary. They call them International Archery Association, IAA. But the connection between HTH, the president of HTH, is also the president of the Hungarian Association, which is also part of IFA. The connection between IFA and HTH is just too close. And also, when it comes to the sport rules and regulations and the bow styles, it's in different competitions. It's a little bit mixed up, and so we want to show some clear rules, catchy bow styles, what everybody who has a traditional bow knows exactly just by looking at our sport regulations. Self bow, a primitive bow, okay, there is some explaining to do, of course, but reflex bow, for common known as horse bows, and American flat bow and all that stuff. So everybody knows exactly, oh, I have this bow, I know exactly where to go. And this is what we're trying to do to make it as simple as possible for traditional and historical archers where to belong in which category when it comes to a competition. A long explanation, but I hope understandable.
My next question concerns the youngest group of archers, uh, namely, what is T.A.I approach to the generation relay? I mean, how do you work with children and youngsters? And do you have any age restrictions?
Our restriction is 6 years. Under 6 years, well, okay. How do you call this? We close one eye and say, okay, you can go with. But no, when we're talking about also, we are including children and teenagers and young adults also in our competitions, which is very important. Also, when it comes, to the European Traditional Open this year, also these ages or these groups from kids to young adults or juniors, as we call them, they're also included in our championships. Um, and yes, of course, I mean, you can become, well, I don't want to call them a European champion, but the first, you can gain the first place, of course, in your age division, like say 7 years, with a self bow. And but we put them, the children, you put them together. It doesn't matter if a boy or girl. They are competing together in one group till a certain age, and so there's a certain age divisions, and then we, after a certain age, we split them gender-wise, female and male, because I was over many years also a trainer for a swimming competition here in Germany. I myself started in my sports career as a swimmer, and competition swimmer. And so my son himself, he also was a competition swimmer. And I saw the differences, because when it comes to puberty, you have to make difference between boys and girls, because girls, when they start into the puberty, they're growing a lot faster. They're starting really, really early in their age into puberty. So they have a lot of lots more advantage against boys. I mean, there comes an age, when they're looking to other boys and getting interested, in the other gender, and boys are still, playing with a Playmobil, whatever, This is just different. That's the reason why we are splitting at a certain age. We are splitting, but as kids, they're, competing together, and of course, yes. And we are offering, here, many clubs here in Germany, which is quite amazing. Now they're starting to train trainers. This is what the TBVD, the German association, does. They are training trainers so that they can train properly, young archers, children, and even adults when they want to start sometime. And that's really important. It's not only about the archery. Also, it has also to do with pedagogic stuffs. Getting good insight and read people. How can they do? And of course, it even leads to a situation sometimes when you have to tell an adult, "Hey, come on, just don't do archery anymore. It doesn't make any sense because." You have never learned to be patient or whatever so being honest, very important. Yeah.
So correct me if I'm wrong. In a sense, you are only developing your coaching routine, building a base. So, do you have any coaching gradation? What does that look like for you in practice?
Right now we are in the process of establishing the process. That's the reason why I'm also really happy that Italy with Settore Carman and from Xen joined us as a federation, and they have in my opinion, a really good education system. Settore Carman from Italy is not, they don't call themselves, the archery department of Xen. No, they call themselves education and archery. So yeah, very important. And they have a system which is, I think, and I believe, quite interesting. As far as I understood, we're just at the beginning from also with a translation from Italian to German and English, of course. But in general, what these guys told me, especially Marcello Pacatera from Italy, he told me it's about educating children. It's not only about shooting and making good points and train to get better and better. And then you will get a sticker, for example, what the German the DSB, the World Archery the Federation in Germany does. Only you get a sticker or needle, whatever, if you shot good points and you're going a rank higher. No, Settore Carman, what they do is also educating them, telling them a little bit about the history, about knowledge. It's not only about practice, it's also about theory, which I think is very important. So right now we are at in the process of establishing when it comes to the education. But then also you have to consider it's up to the national federation if they want to take over or if they want to only take part of it. This is not what we have in our hands. This is, the decision of the national federation themselves if they want to do something like this. We only can offer them, and this is also, which is part of T.A.I. We are looking at really good things, and when we believe, and this is a good thing, we are asking them, what do you think about sharing this with other federations? Mostly they say, yes, of course, why not? And this is what we're trying to do, to share knowledge, which we believe is really good, also to other archers. And this is very important, I think. Yeah. Why to develop something new if something really good exists, and adapt this and maybe, share it.
That's lead me to my another question.
Yes.
Or maybe it'll be just the other part of the same question. It's just, well, you told us that it's children, you admit children 6 plus. Is there any other requirements who can become a member of T.A.I, knowledge or the skills?
No, not at all, because the point is, this is not a requirement to become a member of T.A.I. Of course, if you want to become an individual, I will come to that later. The requirements. This is something what the federations or the clubs, they have to decide what requirement is needed. What these people who want to start into archery, basically they have nothing. So they're starting from point zero and want to learn something. Well, actually, most of even the adults, they don't start by zero, because they have they played as children with a hazelnut stick and a string and the branch, and they were shooting in the forest just for fun, playing Robin Hood, playing, we call them cowboys and Indians or Native Americans and all that stuff. This is what they did. And so they at least have the knowledge about bows. Of course, there's the media, there's movies like Braveheart and so many movies about when it comes to 300, for example, with all these Persian archers and all this. There is so many. They have seen it when, at some point, they have seen archery, how it's done, but never experienced them themselves, except when they were children. So now what they want to do is, get connected again to archery. They want to learn because it's quite fascinating. You're doing something right in front of your face, and then after 30 meters, something is moving, or something, you hit something. There is something happening in 30 meters away. This is the fascination, which goes with every human being. You have a stick and can do something in the distance, and you can move something without being at this, target, whatever there is. This is a fascination which is going on with so many human beings. Also with driving a car, speed from A to B really fast without doing anything, because I have my car, or my horse, whatever. This is the fascination. Doing something and there is something happening in the distance. I don't know why it is. Maybe a psychologist could explain it to you, but this is something which fascinates. Another very important thing is requirements. Archery is not only for healthy people. Also, we have archery is right now in the stage of becoming, how do you call this, a rehab, especially when it comes to people who had a stroke, because sometimes the left side or the right side they can't move anymore, and to get a good eye and hand coordination again. So archery is perfect for that, and also for people with adiposita. You know what adiposita is? Being fat, couch potatoes. That means people who are not willing to move. They are sitting and they're absolutely totally overweight. It's also a disease, adiposita. So to get them out from their couch, get them in the forest. They don't have to run. They don't have to to make a decathlon or whatever. Just walking and then doing something fun. Archery. And so they have to go from the pack to the target and back and go to the next pack. This is also a very, very good thing, especially for the people who are sick, and all that, for coordination. In many ways, it's pretty good. Yes. This is just a side effect. So no. Individuals, they only when they want to join T.A.I. and as members, they have to know, of course, the basic rules of archery. This is what they have to know, and nothing else. The only thing what they have to do is, when they want to join a tournament, they have to accept the rules, because everybody in T.A.I., when it comes to E2 or EHO, we are playing at the same regulations, and we are playing with the same rules. So nobody is getting out. This is a very important. Otherwise, we would have chaos.
So I'm assuming that, according to what you just said, basically any archer from Ireland, regardless of what association they are from, can see themselves taking part in your events. Is that correct?
Yes, of course.
participating.
Even a compound archer from Germany or from Italy or from UK, it doesn't matter, as long as he's using a traditional bow when it comes to the competition. So I don't care if he's shooting in his private life or in his club a compound. It's okay. But when it comes to a competition under the hosting of T.A.I, they have to shoot traditionally.
No, but
So
this is actually the one of the nicest thing I heard in a long time, because usually associations are having restrictions like this, that you have to be a member of association, you have to go to the induction, you have to go to the basic courses and everything. So in a way, it just popped in my mind now, just forgive me, you just freeing the joy of archery to everyone.
yes, of course, this is exactly, this is what I'm talking about. There's only one thing I would to add to your question. We have a regulation when it comes to membership to T.A.I. If in a country there is no federation associated to T.A.I, then it's possible that a club or even individuals can become a member of T.A.I. That means, for example, in Germany, no individual can become a member. They have to join first the TBVD, or we have a second federation, which is already also a member of T.A.I. It's the German Sports Archery Federation, which is the oldest, by the way, in Germany, and was founded in East Germany at the time when Germany was divided into countries. And this is, the oldest federation, archery federation, and they belonged to the World Archery. But after the unification of Germany, they were kicked out because the West German Federation was affiliated to World Archery. So they were just 30 years long without any international connection. That's the reason why I went to them and I was asking TBVDs, told them, hey, come on, guys. These guys, I really do appreciate what they're doing, and they're sticking together since 30 years, but without any international connection. Do you agree that we are letting me also into T.A.I? And TBVD said, of course, we are archers. We all are archers. The only restriction there is, traditional archers only can compete. And so that's the reason why Germany has two federations in T.A.I. It could happen also with Ireland. If IFA Ireland says and another federation says, okay, we both want, the first one, of course, can join. We will decide about it. Of course, we will talk, and then we make a decision. Okay, welcome, Ireland. But when a second federation from Ireland wants to join T.A.I, then we have to ask the federation who joined first. If speaks something against a second federation. In general, of course, there will be some arguments, some discussion, but in the end, we will have a good decision or compromise, whatever there is. So that's the reason why we are free to every. But very important, when a federation joins T.A.I, then immediately all individuals and clubs, we will inform them, because the federation has priority in T.A.I, and these clubs and individuals, we tell them, please do us a favor. If you want to compete on or want to be part of T.A.I, then you have to join this federation or a club which is part of the federation. In your case, Ireland, of course, and also the clubs, if they're individual clubs or if they are part of federation, then we would tell the clubs, listen, are you part? Okay, no problem. We quit our membership, but then you're also a member because your federation is member here. So this is the way. Federations, they have priority, because we believe sometimes that we can manage over the federations, for a whole nation, something's a lot better. And also when it comes to referee instruction and all that stuff, it would be better organized. Also, what we have done is we have delegates or spokesmen for this nation, not many, because there are many clubs and So they have to sit together who is representing Ireland when it comes to a delegate assembly, and all that stuff. That's the reason why federations have, of course, priority. They're representing their country.
Then let me ask, any organizations, group, or individual archers from Ireland are already members of T.A.I? I'm just asking because maybe I know some of your Irish fellows.
Actually, we don't even have an individual archer. That means there's absolutely zero connections to Ireland, which I think is sad, really sad. I wish Ireland would be part of it. I mean, from England, we have the Longbow Heritage. This club is a member of T.A.I. But you told me that you have many federations and so many organizations in Ireland.
Yes,
Same
there
goes,
is too in Ireland.
but let me tell you, this is the same goes for the UK. You have I don't know. I know from at least 3 or 4 federations in the UK. Well, in Germany, it's the same. We have 4 federations. We have the German Sports Archery Federation. We have the Traditional Archery Federation. We have the Field Archery Association, and then we have the Deutsche Schützenbund. This is a federation where all the gunmen and archers and blowgun shooters and everything what has to do with shooting is organized in this federation, which is also supported by the government. By the way, all the other 3 not. So, but we don't care. Yeah. So it's typical European. Yeah. But not only in Malaysia, they have also in India, they have so many organizations, federations. I think, yeah. In Greece is one of the very, very few countries where you only have one archery federation, which is affiliated to World Archery. And anything else, field archery and traditional and historical archery is and I don't like it. No.
Yes, although with such a wealth of associations, federations, and various organizations in Ireland, England, Greece.
No, don't get sorry. I have to correct this. Well, maybe there is a misunderstanding. The Archery Federation in Greece is not member of T.A.I because T.A.I they don't accept T.A.I as an international recognized organization. Yes, this is Greece. Very strange, but well, okay, we have to respect this. In the eyes of the German law, for example, we are an international because we are at least recognized by 2 countries. When you're recognized by 3 countries, of course, you're international. No, seriously, we are an international and we are recognized in many, many countries as really the official, organization when it comes to traditional and historical archery. So no problem here. Greece is just an exception. I don't know why, because, Olympic Games and Olympia in Athens, has something to do with Greece because, yeah, they're holding their flame for Olympia. I don't know how to explain it, but maybe this is an explanation. I don't know. But this is sadly, unfortunately, we have a lot of friends. We have clubs and a lot of individual members from Greece. And I think this is really sad. But well, let's see what the future brings.
Okay, let's leave Greece behind and move into the future. How do you see yourself? I mean, T.A.I, or rather, how would you like to see yourself? Let's say in 5, 10, or 15 years from now.
I told you before, it's a hard question. It's a really tough question. I would be, how do you call this, the oracle of Delphi, if I would know what the future will bring. Of course, no, I don't know. But I'm working hard that let's say the other way. My goal for T.A.I is that we are, the authority when it comes to traditional and historical archery. And I think we are on a good way. there are organizations in Korea who are trying to collect a lot of information when it comes to historical archery. It's quite interesting, quite very intelligent people, but well, if you look to their homepage, there is not that many information. And yes, I can't tell you more anymore, only from people who visited, Seoul, was a meeting over there. And they told me it was quite interesting, but that's it, no tournament, nothing else. So there's another organization also here in Europe. They do a lot of tournament. They're trying, of course, to mimic us, to, I wouldn't say copy, but they're trying to do the same as we do because they recognize that we are doing a good job. But the foundation is not there, in my opinion. So, and I'm trying to lay down the foundation that the future will be secure for Thai. I see us, I hope that we are, in a couple of years, the authority number one when it comes to traditional and historical archery. I mean, historical archery and traditional archery, it's 1,000 years old. And the humanity will carry this also into the future. My hope is so. And it is so much more. I mean, we were talking, before about the philosophy and all that stuff. Well, I hope we are growing, and I hope also the leaders who are following me in when I'm not available anymore. I'm getting also older, and I hope the presidents who are following me will follow also my ideas, my philosophy. I can't tell you. Because one of the nice things when it comes to Thai is the board of directors is elected democratically. We have every 2 years we have a delegate assembly, and the president, the vice president, and the cashier, they will be elected democratically by all the delegates who are there. So I don't know if I'm still there in 2 years. Who knows? But I will lay down the foundation that Thai will become, a really, really strong organization, not only for sports archery, for competition, but also when it comes to knowledge. I will give you an example. Let's say there is somebody who has a bow, got a bow from his grandfather, and he doesn't know what kind of bow, and say, okay, it looks old. I ask Thai, they can tell me. They send me a picture and say, yes, this is a bow from the Mississippi Delta. It's a Native American flat bow, what you have in your hands. Be happy and enjoy your bow. So this is, I hope you get the idea. Whenever people are asking, they can ask, people from Thai, or at least we can give them an answer and say, hey, listen, there's a guy in India who can tell you exactly when it comes to Danu bows, or, from Ireland, or, from England. We know people who know exactly what kind of bow it is. So, this is also what it is about Thai. It's networking, it's knowledge, of course, lots of knowledge, know-how transfer, also how to build these old bows. Because you told me, I know that you have a Manchu bow, and the old boyar Fuxi from China, who is the last boyar who was able to build, because his father was a boyar and he was building these Manchu bows. And when Mao Zedong took over China, what Fuxi did, he broke all the bows and put them in a straw barn so that nobody could find them, because the revolution guards were killing everybody in China when they had to do something with the historical or traditional part of China. They wanted to get rid of them. So now, after the counter-revolution, after all these years, Fuxi took them out and tried to rebuild these bows. That's one of the reasons why people have the knowledge of how to build a Manchu bow. And Fuxi was one of the few artists who introduced everybody again to the Manchu bows, which, by the way, is a quite interesting bow. Also in South Africa, there's a huge community who are shooting, Manchu bows, the Chinese bows. So this is what Thai is about, knowing somebody who knows what's going on.
I like this approach very much. There is something both charming and uplifting about it. Yet, I have to ask you if you see any challenges ahead. What could be the main obstacle for you, and what could be the main threat?
Um, yes, there is, of course. Um, we had last year in May, we had the also what we're trying to do every year is a traditional archery meeting where we just discuss certain topics concerning archery. Of course, we are asking what is the status quo in vice versa country when it comes to traditional and historical archery. The first one was in Istanbul, which was quite an eye-opener, an absolutely eye-opener of the way Asian guys see traditional and historical archery. And I mean, we're talking about the Eastern and the Western Hemisphere. Now, the biggest challenge I see is the topic last year was archery and Amazon behavior. So when I presented this paper the first time, everybody was looking at me strange. What is Amazon behavior? People from the Amazon? I say no. We have a huge storehouse which is called Amazon or eBay. And okay, but what has that? What has the Amazon behavior to do with archery? I say it's pretty simple. Our society in general, and I'm not talking only about the Western, societies. Also, it goes also with the Western, with the Eastern societies. I mean, what we have in the United States and Europe, we have Amazon, but you have Alibaba in China and Asia. Same principle. So eBay is everywhere. You can find eBay, and all this. Craigslist was also a sort of pre-Amazon. But what happened is eBay and Amazon started this. The customer is king. The customer can do everything, no matter what. So, and this is the inside of the business, which is selling something, wants to make profit. So now what the society learned is, okay, hey, I'm a customer, no matter what. Even if I go on a public range, I'm a customer. If I'm joining an organization, I don't care if they're public or if they're private. I'm joining them and I'm a customer. I can do whatever I want. I can complain. I can act like a Karen or a Kevin. This is I told you about Karens and Kevins. Typically for the United States, hysterical. And if they don't get what they want, I want to talk to the manager. I want to talk to the manager. Meaning the behavior is I want to have something immediately and to my conditions. And this is something what we can't offer, of course. And I'm not willing to do that. Archery is something what you have to do. You have to live archery. And the biggest challenge is that people are expecting you will do everything for them. And well, okay, I can pay you. And if they're not satisfied, you won't get your money. No, this is not the case. This is what I don't want to have. And this is the biggest challenge because society is changing more and more and getting more radical about this behavior. And I was quite, I mean, sometimes you even when I go shopping, for example, the way customers treat the servants in a warehouse, for example, the cashier or the guy who is putting all the stuff away and all this, they're treating them really mean and really rough, and this is what I don't. I think this is a bad situation. I don't like, and I'm hoping that this also will not take over also when it comes to our federation, of course, that we are getting more and more people who are acting like, the customer is king, I can do everything. And this is a huge challenge because this behavior also comes with many, many other things. People expect to get immediately everything. Children, they know that their parents will drive them to school instead of walking to the bus station, taking the bus when it's a longer way, and then taking the bus and getting out. No, they expect their parents to bring them. How can a child learn to be independent? How can a child learn then, in this case, to make good decisions? Being patient, because they're getting everything. And this is not only with children or teenagers, also with juniors, also even adults, because they don't learn it. And they only learn it via advertisement in TV or YouTube, whatever. You can do whatever you want. So, and this is not the case. Enjoy your life. Yes, this is okay, but also you have to do something for your life. And archery, I think, is a very good vehicle to learn that. We were talking about the values, as you remember.
About the values now. No, it's nothing scary. It's just, what do you want to, how would you say address people in Ireland, but not only in Ireland, also in other European countries, and as far as imagination prompts you, invite them to join T.A.I.
Okay. What I would tell every archer, this has nothing to do with T.A.I. or being a traditional historical archer. It has something to do with being a responsible archer in general. I think this is very important. We have certain values when it comes to T.A.I. I will tell you only a few of them. Responsibility, respect, keeping the heritage. These are three very important, and patience. Also, patience. These are four very, very important. There are some other values. Of course, we could talk them, but these four values are very, very important. And I think the most important values we have. Respect, not only for your fellow archers or your competing archer, also respect to your bow, to your arrow, and to the target, and respect to the organizer of a tournament, or respect to the range owner, to the pack, and to the 3D target, and also to nature, of course. This has something to do, and if you respect all that, this is very, very important. Also, willing to help, for example, also a very, very important thing. Willing to help. Even everybody knows, I have done a good thing today. God will, give me some goodies later on when you're helping an old woman over the street. This is a willingness to help. But it also has something to do helping archers when you see somebody is struggling with his bow and trying to help them, even a competitor. This is what we're calling about fairness in sport. In soccer, everybody is just clapping his hands when one team, the one player against the other one is helping him up because and says, "I'm sorry, I hurt you," all that stuff. The playing fair. This is everybody claps his hand, but this is something which it has to be a normality. That's absolutely normal. Also, a high regard for everybody who has something to do. And these are values that they not only apply for archery, they apply for living in general. And, these are the values. And patience. Being patient is very, very important, I think. Don't just, go up like a rocket. This is not good. Even, everybody, a good archery teacher tells his students, if you don't hit the target, don't go up like a rocket or, get on fire like a match. No, be patient. Think about maybe what you have done, but don't carry your fail to the next target when you go to the next target. Just make yourself free and start all over again. This is, patience and being open-minded, of course. So these values we were just talking about, this is what I could tell every archer, no matter if he wants to be a member of T.A.I. or whatever. I can tell everybody. Discipline, of course. Yes, discipline is also very important. Don't give up after the first or the second failed shot. Don't give up. Stay with it and practice again. discipline. This is, something what a lot of people they never learned to be disciplined, never learned discipline. Yeah.
This was actually a very great conclusion to this our very short interview. I'm convinced that Thai has a great future ahead and that you will soon be joined by archers from Ireland, but not only from Ireland, all over the world, I'd say. So thank you very much for your time with us and all the good wishes for the future.
Thank you very much and giving me the opportunity, to explain myself and what Thai is about, and also to introduce Ireland, hopefully the complete Ireland, when it comes to traditional archery. Yes, it would be super nice also to get more in contact, and also, to have some Irish people also in Thai, of course. I know a couple of Irish archers, from my past when I've been part of IFA. Funny thing is, I have lots of friends from the UK, and they told me, Eric, come over. You have to translate, because there are some Irish guys who you have to translate for us. Was just, yeah, this is just fun we have, between the Irish and the English, and there comes a crowd and trying to translate. It's really, I appreciate and really thank you for giving me the opportunity, to tell something about Thai. It was super nice. Yeah, if there are any further questions, feel free to contact me, and I'm trying to explain that. Thank you.